It doesn't matter what camera you shoot on, what lens you shoot on, that makes your shots look cinematic. It's about how you shoot it. Today, I will be showing you how I shot this scene step by step and why I use these 3 key elements to build up my scene, which makes it look like it is from a movie. The 3 elements that I believe make any shot look like it's from a movie is lighting, art direction, and composition. So let's just start off with what we're actually shooting. Now, I'm just making this scene up out of absolutely nothing, so there's no real story behind this, but let's just say this woman has just come home from work and she's having a rough time in life. She's super sad, and the only way to cope is through alcohol and crying and watching TV. So I've set up this little nighttime scene in the lounge room, and we're gonna make it super dramatic, depressing, sad, and awesome. Firstly, let's talk about art direction in this scene, or any scene really. I'm referring to a couple of things that fall under art direction. Stuff like, your set design, props, costumes, makeup, the visual themes of the whole scene, all that sort of creative art direction stuff that actually builds the visual creative that people are seeing. That is sort of what I'm talking about. So immediately, I want to stage a couple props around the area. Stuff like other alcohol bottles that are just sitting on the bench or like fallen over, dirty tissues. They weren't actually dirty, I just got some tissues and scrunched them up and chucked them everywhere. Anyways, all these little bits sort of bring together the scene, even though it's really small stuff and it's a really small focused scene that I'm just showing you guys today. Another little thing we did to bring this scene together is doing some sort of messy makeup and crying makeup, or making it look like she has been absolutely crying, bawling her eyes out. So I left that part up to my girlfriend because I am not qualified to be in makeup, but she decided to do, I think, mascara, and she just sort of made it super messy and, getting that sort of drip effect like she has been crying. And then we wanted to make it look like she had soggy eyes, like there actually has been tears running down her face. So she used like pawpaw cream that usually goes on your lips and stuff like that, and she just sort of patted it around to make it look a bit moist and soggy. So I honestly think it worked pretty well. It's really only visible in the close-ups, but every little detail makes everything so much better. Now, moving on to another super important piece of this puzzle is lighting. Lighting is a huge aspect to what makes a shot look cinematic. Now, I knew this was gonna be a nighttime shot, so I've done this setup in the past where I literally just put my bicolor light outside and point it through at the coolest color temperature it can, which is 6500 Kelvin. And then I actually draw the blinds across, so it creates really cool visual movement across the whole scene, and I think it's just awesome. Now, looking at the raw footage compared to the final product, you're probably thinking, why doesn't it look like nighttime in the raw footage? Why is it not as blue as the final product? And that's because I ended up heavily sort of color grading the shots to make it look more nighttime. And that's because my lights can't go that extremely blue. If I had gels, I would definitely use it in this scenario for these sort of nighttime moonlight shots. A gel is basically a thin sheet of translucent color that you put over the top of your light fixture, and your light shines through that color and it will, project the strength of that color. I don't have any gels, so I had to rely on heavily color grading my footage, which I still think it turned out pretty good. So that's only one light so far, and it's already looking pretty dramatic. But just to spice the scene up a little bit, I decided to add some color contrast by using these little Aperture MC lights, which is actually right behind here. I'm not gonna get that, you can't even really see it. Let me get this one. Here we go. This is the Aperture MC light. You can put any color you want on this thing. I decided to do something really warm because everything else is really cool, and I put this in the lampshade to give off a warm light in the background. And this just helps break up the scene a little bit, makes things pop just a little bit more. And that's literally all this lighting setup is. We got one big sort of key light coming through the window, and then some little accent lighting to break up the scene. Now, the last thing I'll talk about before I show you the final shots that I got is composition. Your composition is basically how and what you frame in your shot. For this scene, I storyboarded 3 shots that I wanted to shoot. That is a wide shot, a medium shot, and a close-up shot. 3 simple camera angles that will basically get you full general coverage. But that isn't much fun when you're shooting that all day, every day. So we want to have fun, get creative, and spice up our angles. I did a little shot where I focus pulled from the alcohol bottle sitting on the little coffee table and pulled it to her back sitting on the couch. And this is almost like an establishing shot in its own regard, because you're starting with something else in focus, which is also a key part of the scene, which is the alcohol, and you pull back to reveal everything else around you, including the actor. Just this one shot already establishes what is happening in the scene. And then I got a slightly higher angle on the side of her face as well, sort of pointing down on her. This creates sort of an inferior feeling that she is lower than us and we're looking down on her and she's just having a rough time. So that just helps motivate all of that emotion. And then I just got a couple other B-roll shots, I guess you could say, of her just flicking through the TV with the remote and unscrewing the bottle cap for when she drinks the alcohol. So yeah, that's basically it. Pretty simple little shoot I just did just for this video to show you guys what's possible. But yeah, that's about it. So there you go. We just shot that whole scene using lighting techniques, art direction, and unique compositions. Now the whole basis of this video is you could shoot this scene on basically any camera and it would still look good. I mean, even just looking at the footage from my iPhone, which was sitting at the back sort of for a full wide BTS shot for this video, and it still looks pretty cool. And that's because of the lighting, the visual themes, and the art direction of the scene. So if you know what you're doing and you use these 3 key elements to make up your scenes and your shots, I believe you can make anything from any camera look like it is a shot from a movie. So, thank you.